Watching Marvel movies is like hooking up with your ex. Sure, it's guaranteed you're gonna have some fun, but at the end of the day, it's the same old predictable experience. And yet, once in a while, Marvel will give you a film that pleasantly surprises and completely tops your expectations. Captain America the Winter Soldier is arguably one of the best MCU movies and definitely among my favorite ones. It's a grounded conspiracy spy thriller with well-paced action, solid story and compelling characters. But what I like the most about this film is the truly alarming ideology behind its antagonist. And I'm not talking about the Winter Soldier who, despite being quite dangerous, ultimately turns out to be just a brainwashed victim. Nor do I take Secretary of Internal Security Alexander Pierce that serious, despite Robert Redford's charismatic portrayal of him. In my opinion, those two are just tools in the hands of the real evil mastermind, Arnim Zola.
Who?
Not a very good-looking villain, I'll admit. Not as cool as Thanos or Loki, but I think this is one of the most interesting kind of villains. The average-looking dude who doesn't have the facial features of the stereotypical bad guy. The one who works on the shadows. The one who stands in the back of the crowd and foresees all the events. That's why for this one villainous scene video, I'm going to talk about the bunker scene from Captain America the Winter Soldier. So, after Nick Fury's alleged assassination, Steve and Natasha do a little investigation and their clues lead them to an abandoned SHIELD base. In this base they find a secret room where they discover a supercomputer that contains Arnim Zolo's preserved consciousness. Zolo, who previously worked for Red Skull, explains that he was recruited into SHIELD after World War II was over and that Hydra had secretly infiltrated the organization.
The new Hydra grew. A beautiful parasite inside SHIELD.
He then goes on giving us the ultimate wisdom that Hydra acquired because of its failure.
Hydra was founded on the belief that humanity could not be trusted with its own freedom. What we did not realize was that if you try to take that freedom, they resist. The war taught us much. Humanity needed to surrender its freedom willingly.
This is so true. Throughout history, whenever tyrants tried to take away people's freedom by force, they were always met by resistance. And it doesn't matter how much power the tyrant had. As long as there is hope and desire for freedom, people will fight back. You can use force to intimidate and enslave people's bodies, but if you can't control their minds, you will never actually own them. That's why the only way to take away people's freedom is to make them surrender it willingly. The easiest way to win is to help your opponent to lose. So the first step will be to deny the inherent values of freedom. Make it seem like something cheap and overly romanticized. Then you gradually remind people about the dark side, the price they need to pay, responsibility they have to bear, and of course the dangers that come with it. The necessity of freedom slowly fades away and something instinctively more vital replaces it. Security. But people will never truly appreciate security unless they constantly feel in danger.
For 70 years, Hydra has been secretly feeding crisis, reaping war. And when history did not cooperate, history was changed.
The effect of artificially manufactured crisis is multiplied by media, so that population will live in constant fear and anxiety. As a result, people will give anything, including their freedom, just to feel safe again.
Hydra created a world so chaotic that humanity is finally ready to sacrifice its freedom to gain its security. Once the purification process is complete, Hydra's new world order will arise.
Now, you may say, so what? Being secure is better than being free, right? You see, the problem is that for almost any government, securing its own power and influence is more important than securing its population. If it wasn't true, we would never have wars. So to allow government to take away people's freedom automatically allows them to destroy anyone who will dare to oppose them. Any atrocities will be justified towards political opposition or their supporters as long as you call them dangerous. This kind of authoritarian government doesn't need strong and independent people who are able to think critically and take care of themselves. So they will do anything to keep the population weak and uninformed. They will divide them, pit them against each other, destroy the nuclear family. Instead of fighting poverty with affordable education and more workplaces, they will make populace addicted to welfare programs, the true purpose of which is to keep people dependent on government. Now, with the rise of political correctness, Arnim Zolo's evil monologue becomes more than relevant. Instead of making people more decent and respectful, the PC culture turned them into anxious wimps who will happily get offended on others' behalf and conflict having own opinion with hate speech and violence. People are so obsessed with being PC and not offending anyone that some are willing to throw away the freedom of speech just to feel safe again. And if you don't see glaring similarity between these two pictures, then I don't know what to say.
You're unbearably naive.
Allowing government to control your speech means to give them practically unlimited control over you. And it turns out that people in power, just like everybody else, are flawed and greedy, so it's not gonna end well for anyone. You see, there is no such thing as corrupt system. It's people that are corrupted. Machines don't have biases, numbers don't have agendas. People do. The whole point of having systems is to minimize the effects of human imperfections. This is why governments should be limited and people in power should be in check.
The price of freedom is high. It always has been. And it's a price I'm willing to pay. And if I'm the only one, then so be it. But I'm willing to bet I'm not.
I'm sorry if I got carried away with this video. Didn't want it to be too political. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to hit the like button and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Peace.